Good evening, everyone. My name is Star Enriquez, and I will be doing my speech on the fentanyl crisis currently going on in the US. Did you know that fentanyl is currently responsible for more deaths in the United States than any other drug? I am here to inform everyone about the fentanyl crisis currently going on in the United States and the alarming statistics surrounding the deaths caused by this drug. Deaths are caused by things like people lacing other drugs with it, causing the consumer to unknowingly consume it, especially since for it to be fatal, you only need to consume the equivalent about 15 grains of regular table salt, making it very easy to overdose. So it's important to understand the signs of an overdose and what to do in case of one. Currently, drug manufacturers are lacing other drugs with fentanyl. These drugs can be things like heroin, counterfeit pills, marijuana. The biggest one is counterfeit pills. So when consumers are buying these counterfeit pills, they are things like Oxycontin, Xanax, Adderall, things like that. And these pills are often being laced with fentanyl. So these consumers are often ingesting fentanyl unknowingly. The reason that these drugs are being laced with fentanyl is to make the drug more powerful while also making it cheaper for the consumer, because they're using less of the real drug and more fentanyl than anything, because fentanyl is also cheaper. These laced drugs are often marketed on online platforms. They are targeting especially youngsters because anyone with a phone can basically get a hold of these illicit drugs. They are being marketed on things like Instagram and Snapchat, which is what young people are primarily on. So they are being targeted. According to the article "Why is Fentanyl So Dangerous" from the Washington Post, in 2021 alone, fentanyl-related deaths had risen to 71,238 deaths that year alone. These deaths started to rise at alarming rates in 2013 and have since then rocketed. In 2016, fentanyl-related deaths has surpassed heroin-related deaths. So ever since then, they're getting higher and higher. I know this year alone, 2023, there have been so many headlines every day about deaths happening, in the Bay Area, in California. There's everywhere. I did read that the fentanyl crisis is mostly affecting the Midwest and the Northeast. So not only are these drugs being laced, they are also being laced with small amounts. It only takes a dose equivalent to about 15 grains of regular table salt to be fatal. Fentanyl's potency is what makes it so deadly and dangerous. So, according to One Pill Kills by the Texas Health and Human Services, 1 milligram of fentanyl is as potent as 50 milligrams of heroin and 100 milligrams of morphine. Once again, that's only 1 milligram of fentanyl. So I learned that fentanyl can come in many different forms. It can be in pills, powder, liquid. Often it can be multicolored, but it is mostly known to be white and powdery. The thing about fentanyl is that fentanyl is FDA approved because, like I said, pharmaceutical fentanyl is different from illicit fentanyl. So pharmaceutical fentanyl is used for pain relief. It can also be used as an anesthetic and is usually prescribed for pain and mostly after surgeries. So the thing about fentanyl is that it's often harder to be charged for having fentanyl because chemists can tweak recipes to line up with the FDA's rules. So it's often hard for it to be a crime, I guess. And seeing that only a small dose can be fatal, it can cause many to overdose accidentally. So It is quite easy to overdose on fentanyl, which is why it is important to notice signs of an overdose and know what to do in case of an overdose. So, the telltale signs of a fentanyl overdose are things like pinpoint pupils, limp body, pale face, breathing and heartbeat often slows or just stops altogether. A person is usually unconscious or basically near unconscious. And the best thing to do is call 911. Try to keep the person awake, talk to them, make sure they're breathing. It's best to lay the person on the side to prevent choking, and stay with them until the emergency services arrive. Um, a good thing to have is something called Narcan. So either Narcan or naloxone are medications that basically reverse overdoses. So naloxone can be obtained at a pharmacy or from a doctor, and it doesn't need a prescription. Narcan also doesn't need a prescription, and the thing about naloxone is it only works for 30 to 90 minutes. So it is still important to get medical attention still, even though someone was given naloxone. So while pharmaceutical fentanyl is helpful when it comes to post-operative patients and patients in pain, illicit fentanyl is not. And it is causing many Americans in the United States to die more than any other drug. I hope you were able to gain more insight on this crucial crisis going on in our country and how you might be able to save someone around you in case of an overdose. Remember, overdoses can affect anyone. Thank you.